year is 1910. Louisville, Kentucky is suffering from a bout with tuberculosis, also known as the White Plague. The state commissions a hospital to be built to help fight the epidemic, named the Waverly Hills Sanatorium. Waverly Hills was in operation between 1910 until 1961, when a new antibiotic, streptomycin, lowered the need for such sanatoriums. During its time, it saw thousands of patients come and go. Tuberculosis is an infectious disease, typically caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis bacteria. Symptoms can include a long-lasting cough, chest pain, exhaustion, night sweats, chills, fever, loss of appetite, and weight loss. The following is a description of tuberculosis. When TB wakes up and gets into the lungs, it eats them from the inside out, slowly diminishing their capacity, causing the chest to fill up with blood and the liquidy remains of the lungs. A wet, hacking cough is indicative of TB. The lungs, now in liquid form, are sloshing around in the chest. Cough that up. Even a microscopic, impossible to see droplets near other people, and they have a very good chance of contracting TB as well. Eventually, liquid replaces the lungs. The suffering patients cannot get enough oxygen, and respiratory failure begins. They can no longer breathe. They drown. It's painful. It's drawn out. It's an awful way to die. But before any of this happens, the disease weakens you, diminishes your capacity for work, and puts your family and friends at risk. Individual death is only part of the problem. Now that the stage is set, let's dive into the hauntings of Waverly Hills. Waverly Hills is reported to be one of the most haunted locations in the United States. It is estimated that between 5,000 to 6,000 people have met their untimely fate at the hospital. Between the large amount of deaths, the suffering, and the barbaric treatments, including removing patients' ribs and lungs, it's no wonder Waverly Hills has earned this reputation. Timmy, one of the many apparitions reported at the location, has been seen playing with a leather ball. It is believed he died by falling off the roof of the building where they would allow children to play. Another reported sighting is within room 502, where the head nurse would stay. At 29 years old, being pregnant, unmarried, and suffering from depression, she tragically took her own life by hanging herself from an exposed pipe or light fixture. It is said she still stays in room 502 until this day. There is another nurse who roams the halls, who later stayed in room 502 as well. She also took her own life, this time by jumping off the top floor to her death. There is an underground tunnel from the sanatorium to the bottom of the hill. At first used as a heating duct, it was also used by staff to reach the hospital in inclement weather, and eventually it was used as a body chute. It's reported to be haunted by the patients who made their last journey through it. The final and most infamous spirit at Waverly Hills that we will talk about is the doppelganger. It is reported that if you're exploring the halls of Waverly Hills, you may be unlucky enough to come across your own body double. I say unlucky because as legends tell, if you see your doppelganger, it is an omen that you will die. This concludes the history and spirits of Waverly Hills.
I would like to add that not everything to come from this location is dark. There is a great deal of patients that owe their life to the care they received at the Waverly Hills Sanatorium.